Herd immunity is the resistance to the spread of a contagious disease within a population that results if a sufficiently high proportion of individuals are immune to the disease, especially through vaccination. Herd immunity occurs when a large portion of the community, the herd, becomes immune to a disease, making the spread of disease from person to person unlikely. As a result, the whole community becomes protected, not just those who are immune. COVID-19 is a crime. We're going crime-free. COVID-19 was health disease. We're going to be a healthier people. COVID-19 was mental health disorders. We need to be mentally healthier, build back better. COVID-19 was environmental and intra-environmental issues, and we need to build back better. Today is April 21st, 2021, Anno Domini. There are 10 days left to march out of the pandemic. St. Louis, Missouri is the epicenter of the pandemic, and there are 10 days to march out of the pandemic. The coronavirus, COVID-19, novel pandemic was a biological, psychological, and economic war, confront, contest, and challenge. Whereas America's resilience, build back better. What we want to talk about right quick, because we have 10 days and we're marching out of the pandemic, but we're going to talk about the vaccination and what it was to vaccinate. We're going to talk about dis-ease and spreading being unlikely and vaccination, both of these forms of herd immunity. Resilience is we'll use it as a vaccination. We'll also use it as a dis-ease. We're going to use flexibility. This is the opposite of resilience. So just as you would get some resilience, you would get flexibility. There are various types of vaccines. The vaccine for the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, novel pandemic, the COVID-19 vaccine, was a butchered and marred, altered version, and then given to you to fight the diluted version. There are also vaccines that you're given a little bit of the vaccine, a little bit of the disease, and then your body fights it off. So we see those two methods of vaccination. We also know that some things, that certain people weren't susceptible to it, or that certain people are susceptible to it only in those people, and they need a certain type of medicine or vaccine. Resilience and flexibility, build back better. We had dis-ease and disorder. We must have a herd immunity. So you see resilience from person to person, or flexibility from person to person. Vaccinated, butchered, marred. Vaccinated with just some. Or we understand there were herd immunity to it. When we get to certain parts and when we talk about balance, we want to go to 2 to 2. So the balance between resilience and flexibility and the health. Herd immunity, safe and healthy, safe and healthy. The Constitution of a person. The group constitution, our self-constitution, the self and the group. Our Constitution, what we stand for as a people. The Constitution of America. Democracy, freedom, the free market, hard work ethic, the U.S. Constitution on fair and equality, human rights, civil rights. These are things that America stands for. It's our Constitution. It's what we stand for and what represents us and what we represent. We represent in the judicial system, and we're to represent in the government and as a people. It gives us our substance, our integrity, and our authenticity. We need them each. Our authenticity stands for and represents our integrity. Our integrity represents and stands for our substance at the judicial level, for freedom and equality at the government level. So civil rights, human rights, and free market. Our logos, our icons, stripes, eagles. These are all things that represent our country and the Constitution. The Constitution of our group and ourself must keep our integrity and authenticity. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, build back better. Establish justice, build back better. Ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, build back better. Promote the general welfare, build back better. And secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. We do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States, this integrity, this Constitution, this common defense, this general welfare, this establishment of justice, this more perfect union, integrity, authenticity, Constitution, build back better. It's April 21st, 2021 AD, Anno Domini. There are 10 days left to march out of the pandemic. In the bio, psych, and econ war, there were dis-ease and disorder, and we are making ourselves safe and healthy. Natural selection, survival of the fittest, product of the environment, of your environment, nature and nurture, nurture and nature. Having the fittest ideas, principles, ways of life, and behavior. Natural selection. Being evolutionaries and productionaries against anti-evolutionary and anti-productionary forces. We fight these forces all the time. Natural selection, survival of the fittest. We say that we have to realize our creation. There's always an argument of either or. In creation, we understand that we are a productionary and an evolving people. We can evolve spiritually, mentally, intellectually. We even evolve physically all the time, regenerating our skin cells, for instance. Natural selection, survival of the fittest, build back better. Put this in the black PPE, because there are a bunch of different people. We must use our diversity to our advantage. Psalms 21:11 says too many devices to mention. There are too many illicit tricks that people are not able to perform. Mischievous thoughts and imaginations that are not able to perform. So we say too many devices to mention. Job 25:6, don't play on my job. Ecclesiastes 3:3, it's a time to get out of COVID-19 pandemic. But it's a time to heal. It's a time to build back better. Last year, we spent $3.3 trillion, and this year, we're marching out of the pandemic. April 21st, 2021, Anno Domini, we have 10 days to march out of the pandemic. St. Louis, Missouri is the epicenter. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, balance to balance. It talks about a fake going to a real, or the perdition before the brightness. The COVID is the perdition. It is the fakeness that we have to emerge from. We have to be the brightness past this pandemic. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, balance to balance. We say build back better. We say balance to balance, but it's build back better. Let's get past the mystery of lawlessness and strong delusions. And let's get to the brightness. Build back better. Genesis 1:1. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, we must build back better. We know that for the last 10 years, a decade, there have been some bad things going on. American motto, time is money. And this time and this purpose, time and every purpose of time, it's time to build back better. Safe and healthy, safe and healthy. We've been on mask liberty. There were 100 days of mask. We want to make sure you keep your mask protocol. The mask is covering your nose and it's covering your mouth. It's protecting your mouth, or what you say, from transmittable diseases. It's protecting your mouth. It's protecting your nose. Protecting your nose, what you know. Protecting your mouth, what you say. Protecting. Safe and healthy. Now we have liberty. We say mass liberty because we know we have liberty and freedom, and our liberty goes as far as the next person's nose. As far as the next person's nose. So we're in a mass liberty, build back better. COVID was the bio and psych part because the mass liberty is a biological aspect. The COVID was a biological and psychological aspect. We know the CO with a self-feeding V and an ID afterwards. For the group, the self in the group. The constitution emerging of the group and the individual and the group. Bio and psych, COVID. The psych war, how it touched the middle of the country with IEDs, insecurity, escape rooms, escapism, and excuses, and denial. All psych things. But this psych war of cognitive dissonance 19 and the unresolved conflicts biologically for an individual or group. The unresolved conflicts psychologically for the individual and the group. The unresolved economic conflicts for the individual and the group. We're talking about the W, Build Back Better. Hold on. April 21st, 10 days to march out of the pandemic. Anno Domini, we're going to build back better. The W, a double recession. A self-feeding V twice. But a double recession, a Great Recession and the pandemic recession, creates a W. It's not a win. It's not a win. We have the VK series, Bayesian economics. We've explained it. But we want to talk about the self-feeding V of the middle class mediocrity. That's one thing we're putting it on. The middle class mediocrity and the crisis of leadership. And how even homeless people can't go 0 to 100 real quick anymore. Our social mobility is being attacked. We must build back better. The middle class mediocrity is a success, but obviously we need leadership and more economic mobility and volatility. Build back better. April 21st, 2021, Anno Domini, is 10 days left. St. Louis is this epicenter of the pandemic. We're marching out of the pandemic. Shh. Safe and healthy. Safe and healthy. Bag back, give me 50 feet. Bag back, give me 50 feet. Let's march out of the pandemic. Let's get past out of the pandemic.